Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a glorious Friday morning over here from, once again, a very cold and frigid Helsinki, Finland. But the sun is outside, actually, so we actually do get a little bit of vitamin D today. So it's rather nice. And with that said, I would like to wish you the best, and the happiest because it's Friday. You made it all the way to Friday. Doesn't mean shit, man. Cryptocurrency going to be trading 24/7. And this weekend actually probably ripe for a little bit of fuckery, especially as Bitcoin is right around the top side of the major range. And actually having some pretty interesting setups here, most importantly in the short-term timeframes, which obviously can lead on into the long-term timeframes. But with that said, I also do want to follow up on yesterday's short-term, medium-term timeframe analysis, especially coming in from yesterday's later day video. Let me just make sure that the microphone over here is working. It is working. Nice. Yes, there we are. I see Philson already. Fuck yeah, man. The OG of the OGs. Anyways, with that in mind, let's go put the focus right now on the Krown Chain application, which can be found at app.krownchain.net. By the way, it's 100% free. There is a link in the description below, which you can go just raid right now if you so desire. Anyways, what do we see over here? So we actually do see that the Bitcoin dominance and the fear ingredient index are pretty much exactly where they were yesterday. Bitcoin more or less just playing out a range here. And if we did want to have like the most accurate title of all time, emergency, urgent, fucking, what's the other one? Warning, range, sideways as fuck, man, sideways as fuck. So as always, cryptocurrency, moon boys and doom boys, piss the fuck off. But I actually would say that this is more or less good for the boo laws overall. However, you know, if you are going to be making these more egregious, we'll say, YouTube titles, well, I'd say that that's well, a little bit interesting for what is mostly just a sideways range, sideways and up, however, but yeah, sideways indeed. Anyways, what do we see over here with the open interest? So this one's actually really the harbinger peace and prosperity right now, heading up another about 400 million. Actually, I think about $500 million, because we saw it yesterday at about 9.7, if I recall properly, somewhere between 9.7 and 9.8. Now rising up to about 10.2. So yeah, I'd say about $500 million right there. And that is going to be within the context of a higher low being printed on our medium-term timeframes right now. So it still does support the upside here for the long term and the medium term. That is short term. You know, obviously going to be a little bit of an ebb and flow in the market as always, but we will set out areas for where those biases do of course change. Anyways, anything else that we have over here on the main dashboard right now? Yes, we do have a sale going on. All programs are 20% off. It's the 3-year anniversary. It's the 3-year and 4-day anniversary of this place, by the way. So as always, I do want to express massive gratitude. It really has taken me some time to like put what this last 3 years has meant to myself in words, in English words, and I'm still trying to figure it out myself. But man, this has been the fucking pride and joy of my last of the last 3 years, and it's really added a lot of value to my life. It's added a shit ton of meaning to my life as well, and I just want to say heartfelt thank you. As always, if you are interested in the programs, definitely watch the videos. Like, watch the fucking videos, make sure that they're actually applicable to you, because for most people they're just not going to be, and those videos will kind of give you a good insight as to whether it is or whether it isn't. Anyways, with that said, top 10 coins, top 10 worst coins. Who are the usual suspects here today? We got Pundy X, Pundy fucking X, Saya Coin, Harmony. Actually, we've seen a lot of these guys on this same list this week, actually. Chili's must be having like one of the best weeks ever, because this one's been on the top 10 best coins, I think, for like 5-6 days straight now. Pretty damn impressive, to be fair. Same with crypto.com, actually. So that Monaco card actually pulling through. Very interesting there too. Terra, don't know what the fuck it is, but I've seen it a couple days now in running there. And on the top 10 worst coins, no, not my Cardanos. How dare they? They're destroying my Cardanos. Those bastards. They're gonna regret selling when this thing goes to the goddamn moon. Right. Well, actually, it is looking pretty damn good on the higher term time frames, to be fair. You know, this is more or less still an up market until proven otherwise. And what do we see over here? Hey, what's up, Abbott Dynamic? Thanks for everything, Krown. Are there any volume tools you like to use other than standard volume candles? The fuck did I just hear? Candles. Yeah, I do like using the volume profile, which we can actually show off today. It's a pretty useful tool. You know, generally speaking, I mean, you know, all these tools are going to be based off of basically the same sort of, some variation of the same sort of underline. So it's not like you're going to get anything, you know, completely unique from it. But I'll actually show it off today just because it's, you know, it's one of those days. Not anything too crazy has happened in the short-term timeframes or the medium-term timeframes. So might as well look at some more, might as well just look at some different points of data here, see if it lines up with everything else, which can probably spoil a surprise, and it probably does. Anyways, going into the market data tab, what do we see over here? We do see, yes, we do see a nice higher low on the line chart, supported by higher lows on our open interest chart, and more importantly, just holding the range as funding rate once again has a nice bullish reset here. I really, really like this actually. We can see the global funding rate is coming down actually catastrophically from yesterday to today at 0.015%. And again, I want to really zero in on this because this has been a common theme for the last like couple weeks here. Just looking at the underlying dynamics, it's actually been probably the easiest way to trade in the last couple weeks here. Of course, everyone has their own mojo, but just looking at this has really helped with the biases, especially. And when we see the funding rate, especially, come all the way down to what I consider about parity at about 0.01%, while Bitcoin is essentially retesting the prior all-time high. I mean, it's really not that far away from it right now. That is more or less a bullish sign. What you would expect if things were to really turn back down from here is you'd expect the funding rate to really be accelerating to the upside here and continue on with this uptrend that we saw in early March. In fact, we see quite literally the opposite right here. So with that in mind, that does support that. Well, I still do look at this as the former assumption still true. Anyways, what do we say? Hey, what's up, Chenik? Free handies? What the fuck? You're on the wrong goddamn channel, man. What is up with you and like everything sexual? God damn it, Chenik. Okay, man. It don't be like that. You're on the wrong damn channel. XXXTube is where you're looking for, or Pornhub.com is a great venue on the interwebs for maybe not free handies, but you can figure it out, man. Just little quick Google. I know that you're internet savvy over there. Anyways, Bitcoin funding rate broken down by exchange. We're actually seeing a negative rate on OKX, which is incredibly interesting right here. That means, to put this into context, and FTX, by the way, as well, we're actually seeing, we're quite literally seeing on these exchanges, you're actually getting paid to hold longs right now. Now, of course, this will change every 8 or so hours, whatever their funding rate period is, which I imagine probably is that. So that won't be consistent for forever. But again, you're getting paid to fucking hold longs on OKX, which, by the way, is one of the more hefty future exchanges in this market. And Bitcoin's literally very, very close to that prior all-time high. I mean, it hasn't really undone the trend just yet. So again, I look at this as more or less a reset signal. The only thing that's still a little bit concerning to me is the perpetual versus futures premium, which the futures continue to hold that very, very hefty premium right here. It's not as aggressive as it was on March 13th on our current all-time high, but it is certainly a little bit more exaggerated right there. That would be the one thing that actually does make me pause for a bit of concern right now. And if that were to play out, if that were to kind of, especially depending upon how we kind of close today, I'd say coming into the weekend probably does align with maybe a little bit of a downside hunt here. Anyways, with all of that said, I think we've kind of nailed this one to the ground right now, or to the cross, or whatever the fuck. Don't even know. Shout out to Jesus Christ. Was he a TA analyst? Was he a TA autist? Nobody knows. Bitcoin dominance going sideways here too. So I actually still look at this as a major macro low, very likely in progress there. We see global funding rate trending down quite obviously. Actually, this is trending down all the way since January 7. You can see a lot more history on this pain right here. Actually, in fact, that's basically late December, early January. So very, very interesting nonetheless, and we'll come back to the analysis maybe perhaps a little bit later. Anyways, let's go into the chart. Let's go into the charts. We do have CME closing for the week today at I think, because the clocks change, it'd be 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, but I don't quote me on that one. It still might be 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I don't know how the new daylight savings specifically affects CME closures for futures. I do know how it affects, of course, just regular market hours, but that's not what we're looking at right now, so that's not relevant. Anyways, most importantly with this, as long as CME is closing on new all-time highs, I can't really be bearish on that. Yes, it would be a little bit of a doji-ish tilde right here, which can be a sign of indecision, perhaps even reversal, but that actually make this next week or 2 weeks of trading incredibly easy, at least for judging the overall range and judging overall continuation. You could quite literally use both points on the top side and the bottom side for this one for continuation. To the downside, I mean, we actually would have some pretty nasty problems, probably looking at a move back down to about 45,000 bucks if that were to be taken out. Now, I'm not saying that I'm necessarily on that same side, but if that condition were to be met, that's what I'd be looking towards. Hello, sweet princess. How are you doing? Did you get enough sleep? You have a smile on your face this morning. She almost never has a fucking smile on her face because, you know what, she's Finnish, and Finnish people, they don't know how to smile. They're like actually gangsters, in fact, because they always like just like that, you know, with their fucking lips closed. I don't know what it is, man, but it's just something that I've noticed around here. And perhaps it's because we're so close to Russia that they're all, you know, secret agents, and that's how that thing works. Anyways, looking at CMEs here. That's right. Elsa is a Russian agent, and you should be very scared because I've heard about that on the CNNs, and they're very bad people. Kidding. For anyone who's not familiar with American social, or not social media, but basically entertainment media, there you go. Anyways, yes, you know, looking at CMEs right here, if we do see a closure on new all-time highs, yes, I essentially favor the you know, the current trend in this case. Obviously, the weekly MACD going to be cooling off a little bit here with the histogram coming down a bit. Not anything too problematic for myself. We'll continue to obviously rise and stay, you know, to the upside here as long as we're above some very, 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 very critical numbers. I mean, we're talking about down to like $22,000, so it's not happening anytime soon. It would take quite some time to print a reversal here, in my opinion. Anyways, weekly DMI ADX. I still like this signal overall. What I want to see coming into next week to see this continue or have more immediate continuation is the ADX continue with its positive slope here. And obviously the DMI plus, I want to see it follow through too, but ADX a little bit more important in this case. It needs to maintain its current trajectory, or better would be excellent right here. Anyways, do we have any 2 days or 3 days closing today? I believe we just got a fresh 2 day. Yes, we did. What about a 3 day? I believe we just got a fresh one as well. Yes, we did. Okay. So not too much to talk about right there, but it will have natural targets to the upside based off of our current trend, which would be more medium-term targets, and it would say an area of interest right around $64,000, and on the 2 day about 63 and a half. So that probably does rise up to $64,000 as well. So if Bitcoin does take a leg up, let's call it like maybe early next week. So I don't think that this is going to be resolved over the weekend, or at least if it is resolved over the weekend, we probably resolve it today instead, and it's just continuation over the weekend. Then I would keep an eye on those targets right there, about $64,000 for short-term pullbacks, as that area probably is lined up with one of our major fibs if I had to guess. And actually, no, not on this chart right here, but that's not the right chart. Let's go to this one right here. Yes, indeed. Okay, now we have plenty plotted out, and yeah, we do see the 3 spot 272 kind of coming in around that region. Not exactly, but we do see a few things confluent there. Anyways, going back to CME right here. Again, I still like this overall. I mean, this is just a straight up uptrend right here. I think the daily is pretty damn clear in a more sincere tone. I mean, we have quite literally a cup and handle right here, and not that a cup and handle is like infallible. And I see cup and handles fail all the time, but they're quite easy to trade in this case, as your point of failure is going to be below their March 15th low right here, which is about 53,475 on CME. If we were to look at the same thing on spot price action, that would be 53,221 on Bitstamp, by the way. So as long as Bitcoin's above there, I still do remain bullish on basically all time frames. Sorry, not on all time frames, but on higher term time frames like daily and above. Short-term timeframes, however, they can have an ebb and a flow, and if that condition were to be met, I would be looking for another move back down to that $45,000 base. But again, that's still very much far away, and that's what would need to be that's what would need to happen for me to consider that. And of course, it also should be denoted right here that if we are looking at that same interplay between the 55 exponential average and the bottom side Toronto band here that we have been talking about for the last couple weeks, credit again to Gravy and Mr. Punklandia for sharing that little one a couple weeks ago. We actually see the same sort of signal being printed now officially on CME as of last night closure. So technically speaking, spot price action already had this about a week ago, actually a couple of weeks ago in this case on March 8th. Now CME is just following through as well. And I think that the CME chart, again, a little bit more obvious right now. You see this very similar signature to what you saw on this consolidation between about $30,000 and $40,000 right here, where the Trollinger bands kind of collapsed in on it, representing consolidation, no shit. And then continuation once we got the 55 to cross above the bottom side Trollinger band here. Demolia Kazim says, "Hey, Krown, can you please show your HBP inputs?" I can, but let me. Well, fuck it. I'll just show you right here. I'm using. Let's see. I'm using 10 250. You're probably most interested in this one right here, 252. No, put that shit away. Put it away. Put it away. Put it away. Get the fucking goddamn. I'm gonna break all those plates so there's no more clickety clack in the early morning hours. 252 is what you're looking for on the annual length. However, I imagine that you're probably get the fuck out of here. I know this is like Finnish folklore music, or traditional Finnish music with the click clacks, but hey, we're talking to a first world nation over here. Get the fuck out. Sorry. I apologize on behalf of Elsa. She is she's from the forest. She doesn't know culture. Anyway. No, get away. This is important stuff, and you're being disrespectful right now. Anyways, Anyways, okay, so going back to it over here, yes, I do look at this actually as a cup and handle now, officially really in there. We did kind of identify this one, I think about a week and a half ago, and said that, it's technically not in here just yet, but very likely does form. Now we're actually seeing it form. So I did kind of break my own rule with that, but I'd still hold on to it, and I'll explain also why. When you see something like this on a clear consolidation, it just kind of marches up around its prior time high and holds the middle of that range. In this case, the 20 symbols actually just getting it pretty much perfectly. Now is your that was your like $52,500 region. Then very likely to form some sort of reaccumulation. I mean, you're just following the trend in this case, higher lows, quite obvious. So in this case, when you do have a cup and handle, it's not the best pattern of all time, to be honest with you. I'm really not a big pattern trader, although I will call them out from time to time. And this one does happen to line up with the 3-spot 618 extension here at about $69,000. So I still do like that $69,000 target, to be fair. But the next sort of judger of continuation is going to be any sort of a daily closure, basically above this little, what would be on the lower term time frames, ascending triangle kind of forming right here. So I'm actually talking a lot more about patterns than what I even put put relevancy on myself. But it is fair enough here. So with that in mind, I'd be looking at something like this. And that's essentially what you're looking for. You see some sort of cup like formation, and then some sort of reaccumulation formation after the nice little markup. So with all of that said, I do look at on a 4-hour continuation about 59,600, or on a daily closure, I'd be looking at about 58. What exactly is 58,000 even? Actually, 58,000 even would do it for me, and that would not imply continuation over the weekend. It would imply continuation over the next week to come. The weekend, like I said, could be a little bit of fuckery going on here, just because things usually do play opposite on the weekend. Not always, certainly not always, but I would say that a lot of the time, if you have a daily uptrend for your week, for example, then over the weekend, if you see a downside move, usually those do get picked back on up, and those do usually turn into liquidity hunts in this case. So and I'm sure that you've noticed something similar as well. So with all of that in mind, let's go down to the lower term timeframes over here, and looking at CME. Lower term timeframes actually are under pressure, obviously. We do see momentum also is pointed southwards right here. This is your 4-hour, this is your 3-hour, this is your bi-hourly, and this is your hourly right here. However, with all of that in mind, I do still look at this as a nice little basing area. So short-term downside does not necessarily mean obviously medium or long-term downside. That same pivot is going to be the exact same pivot that we just spoke about earlier. Except if you are looking at a 4-hour, your uptrend comes in right around about $55,000 on CME, and I think CME is just the more obvious chart right now. Hey Yuri, we'll get to that in a big man. But again, as always, it'd be great if we could get through the Bitcoin analysis first, and then we'll talk about shitty shit coins. My all-time favorite pastime. Fucking great. Anyways, looking at this right here, yeah, I mean, things could very easily come back down to $55,000, but overall, I'd be looking at that as an opportunity on the first pass. To follow up on yesterday's short-term time frame analysis, however, I should go back here because I think we were using this chart. I did see a little bit of choppy action right here. Short-term time frame kind of pivot right around $58,000, operating as a pivot for right now. But I mean, it's these ranges are so close together that I don't think it's all that relevant. And because now we do have another 4-hour, technically lower high right here, we could actually move up that point of continuation to this level on a 4-hour for spot price action, which is going to be about 59,700-ish region. So 4-hour closure above there. Yep, I'd be looking for Bitcoin to just continue onwards and upwards. Yes, Bitcoin getting above $58,000 yesterday. Also, the 2-spot 618 was a big deal for the short-term timeframes, and I'm essentially just looking for a continuation of trend here. So technically speaking, we did hit our we did get into the $6,000 region, which was a small target with that condition met. I guess $2,000 move, so fair enough on that one. But again, we're mostly seeing a sideways range here. So first pass obviously sell, comes back down. Yes, okay, we get that. A fucking pinball machine is what we're looking at right now. But overall, I do like the rising. Again, in a more toned down tone here, I do like the rising bottoms as long as it's above about 55 200 on a 4-hour, and on a daily closure, we could actually use a much higher level at about 55.5 here. You do still have your higher lows coming in pretty much in line with the 21 exponential average as well on the daily. So everything is kind of lined up with each other, but still more or less in the short-term timeframes range sideways, and I'd probably be looking for a little bit of upside here. Anyways, on our low-term timeframes, do we see anything on RSI that's sticking out like a sore thumb? Not really on the 4-hour. Not really on the 3-hour. I mean, it's just kind of just sideways again. Bi-hourly, same shit. And hourly, what are we looking at right here? Same shit as well. All right, so fair enough. With all of that said, whenever I don't see anything too obvious, what does it typically equate towards? Typically equates towards a sideways range, and I'd be looking for that to continue onwards from this region. If we're looking at CMEs, it does look like the next test actually does come to the upside, and your natural area of interest would be about 59,300-ish region. But I want to see the general market, and more important than the general market, I want to see traditional market major indices, because they have really been very, very helpful in kind of judging biases, especially for the last few days. Whoops, I just lost my thingy over there. But more importantly, before we do that, let's go through the medium-term timeframes, see what the 12 hours looking like right here. 12-hour looks like continuation. We're even seeing 12-hour Stokes cradle around the edge of the bullish control zone. The next sort of signal for continuation to the upside would be that would be that officially cross the upside. So we will have a chance today in the next 4 hours and 29 minutes and 4 seconds. But it's, again, I look at this as mostly a setup for next week. If we look at spot price action, is it any different? Spot price action is actually already leading that. In fact, rejecting the bearish control zone and crossing back up after a nice test to the 21. I don't look at that as problematic either, especially with hidden bullish divergence on our RSI. I look at that as actually continuation again. So call me crazy, but I do think that Bitcoin is still more or less bullish here. At least I don't have a reason to be bearish just yet. My areas for getting bearish are quite clear. Short and medium-term timeframes, medium-term timeframes below about 55. Short-term timeframes below about 56, 700-ish region on CME, but that's not really. I mean, these ranges are so close together right now that I don't think that's very helpful, and I would not trade that myself. Anyways, okay, let's go check out traditional markets really quick, and then we'll get on with our lives and look at a few shitcoins, I suppose. I suppose. All right, what do we have over here? Okay, Dow Jones, still the leader. It did play out a nice little pullback from yesterday, and when I say little pullback, I mean actually quite a significant pullback right there. Now, what I would say about this is that, yes, we did technically get our new all-time highs yesterday. Well, followed afterwards, though, I was not necessarily looking for, but again, it is still essentially trend here. We could actually just extend that as it is. In fact, we did hit that target to the upside, so that's good. But what happens at the end of the week? Well, this is all a setup for the weekly closure, obviously, seen as it is Friday. And as it stands right now, am I bearish on something like this? No, I'm not. Am I bullish on something like this? More or less, yes. I think the key is in weekly RSI right here. Again, breaking above the prior range high, which was your January highs right here, and that very likely does lead towards another drive of continuation. I mean, I look at the RSI as essentially a line chart, and this is actually a little bit easier to read than the current price action chart, although that's still an uptrend as well. More importantly, with that, it does kind of help level out the biases. And while short term, it could very easily have another pullback down to like 32.6, 32.550. That would certainly not be out of the question. In fact, we even see a dual 4-hour sell signal, which came in on the 6th, right here, actually. I wouldn't say that called the actual top. It doesn't get confirmed till this area right here, so it wouldn't have been all that playable in this case, but if it does want to have another leg down, I'd be looking at a move towards about $32,500. But overall, again, it's all about the weekly closure here. Any sort of a closure on the all-time highs, I'm just not going to be bearish on it, and that's just one of my rules. Let's see if we have the same thing on SPY futures. We potentially have the same thing going on SPY futures, but this one's looking a little bit more toppy, to be fair. Looking at the daily, I would actually be favoring some more short-term, medium-term downside here. Probably move back down to about 3850-ish region. Did we hit our $4,000 target? No, we got 3980, pretty damn close, but still, it is an uptrend here, obviously, even if it does come back down to about 3850-ish region. I mean, that is still, just higher low territory, so I really don't have an issue with that. But short-term does look a little more downside imposed. We do see daily Stokes coming back down. We do see daily RSI, bearish divergence, 1, 2, 3 drives all around the highs. So yeah, I probably would actually be looking for this one to come down a bit. It does seem like SPY is a lot more toppy than what we see on Dow Jones, but still, the weekly, is this problematic? I mean, we could come down in backfill on last week open down, but guess where that fucking is? 3850. And yeah, I'd be looking for a bounce there first and foremost. Still looking at the weekly anyways. I mean, I'm still not really bearish on this either. That's the problem with it. And NASDAQ, which I think is the most relevant if you're looking for correlations with Bitcoin. What do we see here? Weekly is a lot more under pressure, to be fair. A lot more under pressure, in fact. See what the daily looks like for the short term. Yeah, daily actually even printing a lower high right here too. So did we hit our 13,300 target? Just about. It looks like we got 13. about 13,296 on the high thus far. Okay, so I'd say that that's more or less met. But here's the problem now. Now this one actually does have confirmed hidden bearish divergence, and we're going to see daily oscillators actually reject the bearish control zone extremely likely, barring any sort of closure today back above 13,000 bucks. So I'd feel very comfortable looking for another wick down actually around last week low. Is this last week low here? Yeah, around last week low. Somewhere around about 12.5-ish region, if that condition is met, or sorry, basically if it just fails to close back above 13,000 bucks today. So any sort of a failure to do that, and I'd be looking for this play out a little bit more. Typically, my target for a hidden bearish divergence call like this is going to be back down around your prior low. Wouldn't necessarily say it has to come all the way down to 12,350, but 12,500, that would be like your next obvious target on this one. Short-term timeframes are definitely a little bit more under pressure here too. And officially in a downtrend as well. So you got the last higher low in the 4 hour. What about the hourly here too? Yeah, not the picture of health and fitness right now in the short-term timeframes. Probably does have a short-term timeframe bounce, however, but again, based off daily closure, which is going to lead into next week, I'd probably be looking for further downside after a little bit of a bounce. Bounce targets the upside probably gonna be like 12,850 to 12,900-ish region in the interim. So I think we've gotten past just about everything that I want to talk about there. It would be rather strange to see Bitcoin pull through with those ones not pulling through. So I imagine we're probably going to get clarity in that situation around, very likely today's closures, because that's going to be your weekly for CME and for major markets. So I'd imagine, once we come back either later today, we'll probably have a better picture of that, and certainly tomorrow when we do the morning video. Anyways, okay, I'll get over to the comments now. Yuri K says, "Good evening, early morning, Krown." Hello, sir. Thank you for. Hey, man, my pleasure, sir. Could you please check Plug and Ava? All right, Plug. What the hell is this? I haven't heard about this one before. I'm going to guess it's a crypto. Oh, okay. Well, apparently, wait, hold on. Hey, God damn it. I did it again. I can't spell. All right. Well, that does that, I guess. So it is definitely on NASDAQ, or at least I hope it is. And looks toppy as fuck, actually, for the information that we have so far. Let's go to a daily. Looks toppy as fuck still, actually. I'd be looking for a move down to about 31 bucks. Long term is this a good chart? Yeah, it's a pretty good chart. I mean, it has been in a long-term uptrend for a while now. Wait, whoa, hey, not really. Oh, surprise. Plug getting absolutely fucking plugged right there. I would be looking for it. Yeah, I'd be looking for short-term, medium-term downside, likely back down to the 200x benchmark average, somewhere around 31 bucks, and probably bounce there. And then Ava. This one's, I think, a DeFi amazing altruistic coin. You did not give a base pairing, so I am just going to make one up. Let's go with Tether. And what do we see right here? Consolidation at a high level thus far. I hold on to bullish biases as long as it holds a higher low structure. And what do we see right here? We got our higher lows essentially coming in exactly where this one is right now. That also means if this one does come down to about 330, where is this last low? Sorry, 325. This will start to inherently become bearish. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily look for a breakdown immediately after that. I actually look for a bounce on the first pass, but more importantly, it start to wedge itself into more of an ascending triangle with that in mind. So essentially, what I'm saying is that I'm actually kind of looking for, if I want to be bullish on this one, I have to be looking for a bounce right here, which does offer up a nice edge for a trade. And this is actually going to be a really good sort of insight into yesterday's conversation, which was more theory based with regards to talking about Nassim Taleb's book. What's it called? Fooled by randomness here, in the sense that when you're looking at something like this, you're not fucking, just because you have potential ascending triangle in place here, which this one's would be very immature, it'd certainly not be fully formed, no doubt. But if you are going to be running with that assumption, that would be your bias buster essentially, in the sense that, hey, if that goes away, that ain't fucking happening. and at the very least, I'd be looking for another run down to the prior low, probably bounce there, and then this one very likely does turn out to be bearish, and we could target major moves to the downside. But first and foremost, market cycle first, and this one, has never really even known what a downtrend is, at least for the information that we have thus far. So with that in mind, I'd probably be looking for a bounce here, probably be looking for a bounce somewhere back up towards 400 bucks or so. It's crazy as it fucking sounds on this $300 number. But again, if this area fails, then I'd be looking for a big downside. But do we see anything in momentum oscillators? Actually, we see a lot more bearish activity on our lower term time frames. What about our daily? Daily actually showing a different picture, playing out hidden bullish divergences. So fair enough. Probably going to favor the daily for the trend here. Doesn't have too much history though, to be fair. All right, let's see. Go Lucky says, "Hi, Krown sir." Hi, hello, Go Lucky sir. Is there a 4-drive bearish divergence for Cardano USD on the daily? Let's see. All right, so Cardano, USD, and we got Binance, I suppose. And do we have 4 drives of bearish divergence here? Yeah, we do, except your 1, 2, 3 drives have already played out. So if you were playing these first 3 drives right here, 1, 2, 3, which is 100% correct, you've identified that 100% correct, that move already played out right here. And that was about a 34% move to the downside. It doesn't look like much on this chart because it's a log scale, but that is a fucking massive move. That is a fucking massive move. So whenever I see something like that, especially on 3 drives, because a lot of the time it's like 3 strikes you're out. Sometimes yes, you do get 4. Doesn't happen as often, however, and you know that's just one of those random rule of thumbs that seems to work seems to work out enough to talk about, I suppose. Anyways, that I look at as already resolved, and what I'm talking about is you can actually look at this on the other side too. You get your bearish divergence, 1, 2, 3 drives, and then you get your bullish divergence on the other side. And when you get your bullish divergence on the other side, I look at that as resolved, and now we have something new in motion. So while technically speaking, you would actually be correct in looking at this as 4 drives of bearish divergence, I would actually argue on the other side, the 3 drives have already played out. Now you have something new going on, and this is kind of like the art in technical analysis, I suppose, in the sense that like you would be correct, but we don't really see that happen. And this is why it's a little more nuanced than that. And people just looking for those sorts of very specific things or those sorts of things, they miss the nuance a lot of the time. And as you can see right here, K-Track is actually not even identifying this as potential divergence right now, which I think would further that cause. Anyways, momentum oscillator still pointing northwards here. I'd favor market trend here again. You know, as long as Bitcoin stays bullish, it's very difficult for me to be bearish on any sort of an altcoin, and any sort of a closure like this, especially above last week's high, which is 1.25. I'd be bullish for new all-time highs into the next couple weeks. So I'd keep more of an eye on the weekly forward direction here. I think this one's a lot more obvious. A closure below 1.25 is not a death sentence, but certainly a move below this week's low is, and that's about 95 cents. So fair enough on that one. Anyways, moving on, we got Dave Smits. What's up, Dave? Can you take a look at polls on daily and weekly? Okay, no problem, man. Polls, okay. Oh, this is Polka Star. Definitely legit. Definitely fucking legit, huh? And okay, no base pair. Man, this is the day of no base pairs. I'm just gonna go with Tether then, I guess, on Poloniex, Huobi, and HitBTC. Man, you chose the trifecta of shitcoin exchanges. Looks okay here though. You know, of course, it looks like a lot of the other charts. Oh, what do we have? Higher lows. Does this look like reaccumulation at a high level? It does. Do I favor the upside here? Most likely, yes. Let's go down to the low term time frames. However, did you give me time frames? Yes, you did. You said daily, weekly. Well, I do feel like I should talk about the short term. I mean, short term could have another move down to like 4.25, 4.30. Possible, yes, but that would be an opportunity. Daily's quite clear. Daily's continuation. Weekly is also very clear as well. Continuation implied, especially as long as you're below the 1st of March low on a weekly, which is about 3. Well, your low on that is 375, but that's not what I'd be looking for. I'd actually be looking for the closure. That's $4. Yep. As long as it's above $4, I'd be looking for continuation here. I mean, this looks like it's essentially flagging out at a high level. I'd probably be looking for continuation. Targets to the upside, if it does break to the upside, would be, let's see, just doing some bad mental maths here. I don't know, about $7. Yeah, about $7. Yeah, $1.50 delta between those two. Onto 5.5. Yeah, that'd be about $7, I suppose. So fair enough. And that target would be initiated with any sort of a daily closure above $5.50. There you go. Anyways, let's move on. What other shitcoins can we find today? Hey, what's up, Coop? Have you thought of a bearish case on the crypto markets currently tried to test assumptions? If yes, how would one do such from a mental, emotional, and technical perspective? We don't need to do it from, you don't need to have a mental and emotional perspective for a very well-defined area. That's the purpose of technical analysis here. Okay, so basically the question is from Coop. Have you thought of a bearish case? Well, of course, I actually really want to be bearish. I'd love for this market to turn down so that we can go back into bear market times, because that's like the funnest time to actually trade in my experience. Anyway, that's when you actually have to fucking trade, I suppose. Right now, everyone can make money. In fact, as I always say, man, the blind bulls are making way more money than me, man. You don't need years of experience to trade this market right now. You need years of experience. Well, you need some sort of experience to trade a bear market typically, because you can't just hit the green button and expect to win. Dad, I'm winning, you know. It's like, hit the green button again. Okay, what's my bearish case for Bitcoin? So my bearish case for Bitcoin is simply destroying structure right here below our 16th of March low, anywhere below there, or daily closure below 55,500. And yes, I will start to look for, you know, about a $10,000 move to the downside, somewhere around $45,000 territory. Would that be macro bearish though? No, that wouldn't be macro bearish. Macro bearish is actually, well, actually right below there, and then we could talk about another another $10,000 to $15,000 move to about 32,000 bucks. Here's the thing though, if you are looking for something to, or at least the one thing that I'm watching to kind of call a potential major high somewhat in advance would be this indicator over here, the pi cycle chart, or sorry, the pi cycle top indicator, of which Caretaker has made a reverse function for this, and we are getting closer and closer to that critical number right here. So I've kind of suggested that 80% is where things become like last chance for love, and then 75% is like, okay, we're done. You know, high is very, very much imminent. You know, not to use a bad, bad turn of phrase there, but very much imminent. You know, very much urgent in that case. And we still have a little bit more to go here. Now, this actually has been accelerating to the down, or the percentage has been coming down rather quickly here, to be fair. Like, we did see about a percentage change from yesterday to today, but of course this is also responsive to current price action as well. So if Bitcoin were to, let's say, accelerate to the upside, that's going to naturally start to diverge these two again, and the percentage will go up, assuming that the acceleration to the upside is greater than what we saw, you know, over the last periods. So, you know, it is obviously relevant to itself. By the same token, to the downside, I mean, you do have that same sort of interplay, but inverted, I suppose. So it's a consideration, yes, but I still go with trend here. I still go with trend. So to be very, very clear, if anyone's just joining, I'm not like necessarily bearish. Hey, what's up, Caretaker? There he is. Fucking yes, man. Fucking yes. Elsa's in the house too. Nice. All right. C-Bell says, I was told that if I came into the cave, there was an elf that would rub his magic Elsa and Krown, my pet coin, with prescriptions. DNT, BTC, Binance. Does the weekly uptrend continue? Let's see. Well, I guess based off of, well, hold on. We do have a Bitcoin pairing here. So Bitcoin pairings are a bit different right now. Probably going to, does a weekly uptrend continue? Well, you just got, well, does a weekly uptrend continue? Yeah, it is kind of turning the corner here. We're on the wrong chart though. This is like a very old one, if I'm not mistaken, or am I mistaken? I think we can even go to Bittrex for this one. So does the weekly uptrend continue? Yeah, probably does here. It is pulling through the corner, to be fair. I probably would be looking for a retest of the high on this run, which is somewhere around what, like 850 satoshis. Any continuation will be either, well, that's going to be very helpful, but in this case, continuation on a weekly, I'd be looking at above 650 closure on a weekly, and then your next targets are going to be to the upside, or at least my next targets would be a little bit above 1,000 satoshis, in fact. So that would be quite the move here. Daily looks fine to me as well. Yeah, I'd be looking for a little bit of continuation here on the whole. Short terms, do we see anything interesting on the short term? Yeah, actually all time frames bullish right here. Very interesting. Let's go check out the Bitcoin dominance, actually. Let's go see what this one's looking like. Let's see. Are we still bullish on this long term? Yeah, I'm still bullish as fuck on this long term. Oh yes, yes. I'm actually very bullish on this one long term. Okay, yep. Still looking at that as the next sort of higher low here. All right, cool. M Aurora says bonjour, Krown, bonjour mon ami. Perp FTX, it's going. All right, let's check it out. Perp FTX is making perps of fucking everything, huh? Holy shit! Oh my god. Okay, so I believe we were bullish on this one yesterday, or the last few days, looking at this as an inverted head and shoulders. Has it hit the target? Oh yes, it's hit the target. It's not just hit the target, it's smashed right fucking through like the juggernaut or some shit. God damn. Yeah, we even have more volume pouring in right now too. Yeah, this is very likely to continue even more. I know that this is quite the move right now, but it's not really it's not really stuttered by any sort of overhead resistance. It's quite literally in blue sky and price discovery right here. So I'd be looking for this one to continue. Yes, there will be short-term pullbacks, very, very likely, but overall, I don't think that this one's done to the upside. I don't have any targets to give you to the upside. This one's already exceeded anything that I can plot on there. So I'd just be respectful of trend, respectful of this crazy market, and just let it roll until you see some sort of topping like formation, which on this one doesn't have too much history, to be fair. So, I don't know, maybe you can start getting some divergence on a fucking hourly, and then you can start talking about a little bit of a local top. But for right now, this is continuation volume, especially. Let's see what else we got. All right, what do we have over here? Genix says, please hire a better flight attendant. Sir, you're on the wrong damn channel. Although I probably will be back in that game later tonight. Man, that is... Elsa says she already answered eugenic. But yeah, man, as far as that goes, I'm actually really excited about that. That's actually been really fucking cool, man. So for me, one of my sort of like things that I wanted to do as a kid was become a pilot. So actually having access to that has actually been really helpful. Really helpful. Like I'm able to have experiences that I wouldn't have otherwise had access to. I mean, becoming a pilot is actually like quite difficult. Like I actually, funnily enough, all jokes aside, I actually learned a lot. Just trying to do that, like, through the tutorials and everything. Hopefully one day I can get my own plane. Rose Production says vet USD or vet BTC or okay, I'm gonna go with vet BTC, but I'm gonna probably save you some time on vet USD. It's probably fine. It's probably bullish because Bitcoin's still bullish. What about vet BTC? However, we have one of those pump and dump charts once again. Ooh, a big old pump and dump chart, but it looks like it's ready to pump once again too. To be fair, again, this is a crazy time in altcoin land. I do think that this one does have some more upside. Next area of interest is going to be somewhere around about a 150 to 160ish region. Actually, sorry, let's dial that one in. About 156 actually. 156 is where I'll be looking toward on the next leg. Probably does have a short-term pullback there, but long-term, make no mistake about it, this is a pump and dump. This is quite literally a pump and dump chart. So I would really have no real reason to believe that any sort of long-term upside is sustained, but I do believe that it still does have some upside here, to be fair. What does that equate to? Short-term upside, medium-term upside. I'd probably be on the lookout though. In the 160-ish region. If it does start to take out this prior high over here at about 211, though, that's where things do get interesting. However, we could probably enter into another like mega pump phase. But again, I'm always going to be skeptical of something that looks like this. This is what a pump and dump chart will look like. All rallies fail, and all rallies have failed, and all rallies very likely will fail. I don't really see any real reason to change that around. My point is, though, is that we have to kind of fit that into short term because you didn't really give timeframes over there. What's up, Mr. Wade Hood? Welcome to the cave, sir. Welcome to the cave indeed. Nimbo's there as well. My tags are not working. They've been blocked. They've been banned. The tags are banned. Kenan Bryn says MA 4-hour MA. Yeah, is this what I think it is? MasterCard. It is MasterCard. All right, nice. On the 4-hour. Okay, good old Nasdaq. Fuck yeah. Okay, we actually got a base pairing now, or we don't need a base pairing, but we got time frame here. I'd be looking for a bounce off this level. I think the downside that we saw in traditional market yesterday, especially when you kind of incorporate Bitcoin into it, because these are more or less, moving together. I'd probably be looking for this as more or less a little bit of a hunch to the downside. At the very least, a bounce here. Probably does try to bounce back up towards 375.5. A little bit of caution at about 375.5. But, as far as the weekly goes, I mean, this is just a backfill on last week open. So very, very likely a bounce here. And then, if this one wants to try for continuation coming into next week, that's what I'd be looking for. But I wouldn't really be looking for continuation today. I'd be looking for a bounce today. And then that sets it up for the weekly closure. Now, the obvious bearish thing would be closing below last week low on this week, and that would be 361 3/4. All right, moving on. What else do we got, baby? Oh, what else do we got? Oh, whoops, I lost my chats over here. Okay, there we go. All right, let me just holy shit, they just all populated in front of my face. This is a little bit overwhelming right now. All right. Hey, what's up, MP Hanger? Oh, he's having a conversation with someone. I will not interject in that. What's up, Tinos? Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to you. Charles Fuck says it's talking about unicorns right now. We can look at a little bit of unicorn action, I suppose, but I don't think that that's what you're looking for. Okay, 1776 all the way. You must be very patriotic. APHA. I've heard that this one's come up a few times now too. What is this? What is this again? A fear. Oh yeah, a fear. Okay. Oh, or are you talking about this bullshit down here? Well, hopefully it's this one. All right, what are we looking at right now? Weekly looks good. Clear breakout. I'd be looking for new all-time highs over the next couple weeks here. Short-term, however, short-term down. I wouldn't mind another move back down to like 1769 region. Pretty much the numbers in your name, actually. Let's see, Cal Hooley. Hey, what's up, Cal Hooley? Krown, this video just dropped from my sub feed. Even though you're live, you're not there. What? I'm not here? Am I a ghost? Notice you were live before it disappeared, and I had to go back to your channel to get here. A heads up. I appreciate that, man. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about being, I don't know, shadow banned. It makes me feel good about myself. It's like, ooh, powerful. No, it doesn't fucking matter. I don't know what to say about that, man. It's like, all right. what are you gonna do? I don't know what to do about that. Just have to appreciate the people who actually are able to tune into this content, I suppose, because apparently it's a little more difficult than just being shown on YouTube, I suppose. The crypto picture says check out NXE and Galaxy. All right, we can at least do one of these. Next gen energy. I'm guessing you're talking about this right here on Arca, and let's see. Daily, little bit of a pullback. Long term, however, looks fine to me. This looks really good long term. When you see volume like this coming out above your prior all-time high, this is very likely to continue, and I'd still be looking for a continuation on this one. Momentum oscillator is all suggesting the same shit. Weekly RSI, kind of the judge of this one as well. We don't have any divergences there to be spoken of, but overall, I'd be looking for this one to try for a new all-time high, probably coming in next week. Short term, if it wants to pull back down to 369, I'd be looking for bounces there. But I don't really know which time frame that you're looking at. Galaxy, I believe we were bullish on this one yesterday. I'd probably still be bullish on it today. Let's see if anything's changed here. A little bit of selling coming in yesterday. Let's go down to a lower term time frame. I'd probably be looking for a short term down to like 23 and a quarter, probably a bounce there. Weekly, however, weekly still continuation to me. Long-term continuation, yeah. Any sort of a downside move there to whatever number I just said is probably where I'd be looking for bounces. All right, cool. Hey, all good, Mr. Keenan. All good, man. Substratum to it, Rocky. Yeah, this was a nice little topic of conversation yesterday. Yeah, we can look at it. What is it? Symbol sub BTC. I think Mr. Nicholas Martin's not gonna be happy about this one. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh. I think this one's dead, man. It's literally a dead heartbeat. This one has done something worse than dying. It's become irrelevant. It's become quite literally irrelevant. Pretty fucking bad. There's not. I mean, this is even log scale, and it looks like this is ridiculous. This is what it looks like on linear scale. It's about as bad as it gets, I guess. Does this one get its pity rallies here and there? Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't, especially in these market conditions. Wouldn't even be surprised to see it, try a rally towards like 150 or 200 satoshis. But there's absolutely zero reason at all whatsoever for me to look for anything resembling a reversal when all this thing has ever done ever since December 2017 is just go fucking down. 3 years of straight down. Today we're reversing, or probably not, or probably not. Jesus, man. Nasty. Hey, no problem, Mr. Crypto Picture. No problem, sir. Krown, shout out Luigi. Luigi, you've been shouted out, sir. Let's see. Okay, a lot of people. Okay. Jesus Christ, man. But it's pumping. It is pumping. See, that's the problem is like people will hear me say something like that and they'll be like, Krown, you fucking moron. Sub just pumped. Well, look, man, I don't care about a fucking daily pump when it's a weekly, monthly, yearly, quarterly, all-time fucking dump. It's a black hole breakdown, baby, and this one probably just goes lower and 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 lower, and refunds will be processed by Nicholas Martins. That's how the song goes, I think. Just kidding. Don't want to pick on him too much, man. I think he made amends for that by apologizing, or at least that's what I'm told. Whatever the fuck happened over there, who cares? It's a shitcoin sharp. There you go. All right. Brutal indeed. There he is, Mr. Caretaker himself. Check the whale, please. Check whale. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Do we have 3 drive bearish divergence on CME daily? Probably not. No. No. Is this a local high right here? No. Is this continuation? Most likely, yes. Do you typically see bearish divergences come in at the edge of the bullish control zone on the bottom side? Very rarely, actually. And in this case right here, what I see a little more clearly is I see that the RSI is actually having a consolidation inside the bullish control zone. This is usually a pretty damn powerful signal, at least for medium-term continuation here. And I very likely would be looking for that. I mean, just based off structure right here. So again, a lot of people get this wrong about divergence. A lot of people get this wrong, like completely fucking wrong about divergence. They look for the RSI to be making lower highs before they look for a price action to be making like a confirmed high. In this case, where's your confirmed high? Can you show me on the chart where the fucking bears are touching you? Because I don't see it myself. Where would your local high be confirmed? You could confirm a local high here. Guess where to be? It'd either be on a closure below the low of this structure, which would be about $56,000 on CME, or or just a wick below our current low on this structure, which is actually significantly lower at about 53,475. If one of those two things happen, then yes, you would have confirmed local high, and yeah, you would have bearish divergence. Albeit, I would say that this specific read down here, I very rarely see these sorts of reads actually play out. You want to see your divergence calls come into the critical zone or even above your critical zone. Those are usually the very, 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 very powerful one. So we don't have that right here, and I see all the fucking time. Man. Omar, is he here? Is he here, Dion? Is he here or not? Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Omar back in the house. Omar scammed us. Where is he gone? Damn, futures look bullish as fuck. Yeah, and this is why I like looking at CME futures, MP hanger. I just think it's a more obvious chart for the more for the most part. If you go over here and look at spot price action, it's a little more sloppy. I mean, if this might actually even look like a little bit of a lower high right here. But I think that CME is just a lot more structurally fine. Especially looking at momentum oscillators as well. I'm not really concerned about this one, to be honest with you. I mean, even especially looking at like the buy daily and the daily. I mean, this is first and foremost continuation. I mean, I think the 3-day really speaks for itself here. There's really no reason to be bearish as long as we're above 53,500 from this perspective. And the second that we actually pop back above last 3-day high, which is 6,280, that's going to be your continuation signal into the medium $60,000 region. At least that's what I'd be looking for. Of course, it's not financial advisor. I'm not a financial advisor. Ben says, can you take a look at Filecoin versus USD 4-hour chart? Okay. I'm going to guess it's symbol FIL. And this was versus USD. Is this Filecoin? I'm guessing it's this. I'm going to guess it's this one. And you said on 4-hour. Okay, well, actually, just while we're here on the daily, this does actually look good. I mean, look, most things are going to be following Bitcoin versus US dollar. As long as Bitcoin versus US dollar remains bullish, probably fine. Could I have another swipe back down around about 72 and a quarter, 72 and a half? Yeah, I'd be looking at that as an opportunity, though. Does look like a nice consolidation at a high level here. We do see a bullish reset on most momentum oscillators thus far. 4-hour stokes coming all the way down, but you have your trend line coming in way the fuck over here, which is actually not that far away. So maybe the next tick or two, you actually will officially test that. And I would be looking for some sort of divergence, also accompanying that. Hopefully, hidden bullish divergence if you are going to see continuation here too. Somewhere around that level, and then I'd be looking for another move back up towards about 88, 90 bucks region, or scratch that, $85 to $88 region, and very likely continuation on top of that. I mean, all higher term timeframes again are bullish here. There's nothing bearish about this chart. For the information that we do have, albeit very, very, minuscule, and I always feel like I need to say, whenever you see a chart that has especially less than like a year of history, do I trust technical analysis all that much? No, I barely trust it to begin with. So it's like less history, always gonna be worse. But just based off the general market structure here, it's probably gonna follow through. It's probably gonna continue until we see some sort of topping formation on like a daily. I wouldn't necessarily call it. I'm sure someone's going to call bearish divergence here too, but there's actually not. So fair enough. Hey, thanks for that, Heavy. But oh, there we go. I see a comment. Sir, hi, sir. Hello, sir. Could you please check out PLTR daily? Okay. PLTR. Is this Palantir? It is Palantir. Yeah, so this is a real stock here. And what do we have? We have a stock with very little history, actually. Hidden bearish divergence on this, but that's already played out down to the bottom side of the range. Probably be looking for a bounce here on the first pass off this region. No, sorry. Short-term continuation, actually, very likely implied. I'd be looking for another move down to about 2280. Then I'd be looking for a little bit of a short-term bounce. Any sort of a 4-hour close below about, let's call it, what was it, 2230? Yeah, 2230, and I'd actually be bearish on this one. But until that happens, I suppose I could still go with the trend here, albeit short-term downside. Very likely does bounce off that level, and then probably just trades sideways for a bit. I mean, I think this one's done for a little bit of time. It is a little bit concerning on the daily right now. I don't like this read typically, where you see daily momentum also just kind of loosen their grip a bit as alongside some sort of hidden bearish divergence call. But first and foremost, I'd respect trend here. Short-term down, that area, if that area does not bounce though, I would start target big moves down, respectfully big moves to be fair, and that would be about like 17.5 to 17.75 region. Is there a daily jewel sell signal for FTT USD? I don't know, is there? FTT USD? Man, if this is not going to be a good signal, if this is not an actual signal, I'm going to be oh so disappointed, and probably not. Is this a daily jewel sell signal? Sir, if you have access to the jewel, sorry, but I have to pick on you for a second. Watch the fucking videos, for the love of God. You're not going to have good results with it if you do not watch the videos and actually understand what a signal looks like. This is nothing resembling anywhere near a signal. Like, not even fucking close. Not even the same goddamn universe. Sorry, I don't know why it pisses me off so much, but it does. Like, if I'm being honest with myself, it does. It's probably my own problem, to be fair. You know, I probably have like some past transgressions that I need to I don't know, address or something. But no, that's in no way, shape, or form resembling fucking Signal in its current trajectory. Watch the goddamn videos, please. Assuming that you do have it. Mahedao says, "Sir, when Bitcoin Moon need Lambo feed village?" The crypto picture says, take a look at SSL, highly correlated to gold. All right. You know what's actually funny? Someone in the Discord yesterday, let me actually bring this up. It's not necessarily, well, let's get this one through first, and then we'll talk about it. But what I want to talk about is like gold. Gold actually has a negative correlation to Bitcoin. It's actually one of the most negatively correlated things to Bitcoin, funnily enough. We'll bring up that information in a second here. But first things first, shitty as fuck chart. Absolutely dog shit. Absolute fucking dog shit. Do I have any reason to believe that this one's reversing right now? No. No, I do not. Now, is this one even topped out in the short-term timeframes? Very, very likely, yes. I love signals like this where I see daily momentum oscillators down with accompanied by bearish divergence over here. So I'd very likely be looking for a little bit of a bounce off the 21, but ultimately over the next few weeks, I'll be looking for continuation down to about 12.75 and then judge it after that. But first things first, bounce first, then continuation to the downside here. And I'd be looking for, I'd be looking at this as a big pivot. Anyways, okay, so yes, what did I want to show? Yeah, okay, let me just fish out that post. Let me see who posted this. I want to give credit to them. Nikki G in the Discord, which, by the way, the Discord, anyone can join on in. You're more that, you know, it's 100% free. You just have to get past the alt identifier bot, but that might be difficult if, you know, you're new to the internet. Please do not fucking bug our support as well if you can't figure it out, man. It's just an alt identifier bot. There's a video on it as well. Anyways, okay, so I wanted to show this off. So this is Bitcoin price correlations with a lot of the, you know, a lot of big names here. So you got SPX, which is actually a very high correlation, obviously. I mean, we're talking about like 0.9, right? Over the last 120 days. That's extremely strong. I mean, you almost never see anything that strong. That's like just incredible. Same thing with 10-year break even. But what I want to point out is gold. Gold actually has a negative 0.75 correlation to Bitcoin. So that quite literally, it's not uncorrelated. People get this wrong all the time. They don't understand. It's not that I should actually define this. A lot of the time what I see, like a common misconception is people do not understand the difference between uncorrelated and invertedly correlated. This one's pretty much invertedly correlated. I mean, negative 0.75 is like an actual hedge. So you know what, guys? You know what? We found the hedge for Bitcoin. We found that fucking hedge for Bitcoin, baby. And guess what it is? Bitcoin is a hedge for gold. And if you don't get why I'm fucking harping on that, it's because like one of the big memes in this market is like Bitcoin's a hedge for the dollar. Well, actually, over the last 90 days, it pretty much has it's pretty much neutral. If we're going to 120 days, yeah, it's a little bit of a negative correlation. But if we go 90 days, it's actually pretty much nothing. And if we even go to the 15-day, it's actually positively correlated. But my golds. Yeah, so there you go. If you want to hedge Peter Schiff, then that's what I'd be looking for there. There you go. Krown, bro, is BitBoy the Alex Jones of crypto? I don't know. I've heard of BitBoy. I've never tuned into his stuff, but I think the Alex Jones of crypto is probably Chico Crypto. That guy has like a theory for everything about why the lizards are taking over and shit like that. And he's right about a few things, just like Alex Jones is as well. But I think a lot of it is like, you know, people want to feel like there's some sort of invisible hand, there's some sort of invisible God hand that's controlling everything, that's responsible for why they aren't, you know, getting whatever they feel like they deserve in life. A lot of the time, though, this is false. It's the fucking boogeyman is what it is. And while it's fun to talk about and it's fun to joke about and it's fun to, you know, shoot the shit about, like, I love believing in conspiracy theories. I decide to believe in conspiracy theories, not because I think they're true, but because it's more fucking fun, man. Guess what? It's more fun to believe that aliens are real. Are they real? I don't fucking know. Are lizards in control of this world? Probably not. But you know what? I choose to believe it anyways because it's more fucking fun. And you know what? It doesn't matter anyways. You're not going to do shit about it. So my point with that is that, you know, it's very attractive, especially to people who, you know, and this is going to sound like I'm like shooting shots here. I don't know Chico Crypto. I can't really like, you know, I'm not like trying to fucking harp on him or anything like this. I don't fucking know him. Okay. So I just want to say that first and foremost. But this sort of mentality that I typically see with always like, they are in control. The elite are gonna kill your fucking children and make you eat your own shit. It's like, okay, look, you can take responsibility for your life or not. And the problem is, or it's not the problem, it's just the fucking fact of the matter is, whether you are responsible for something or not, it's your responsibility to deal with whatever the consequences are anyways, because guess what? No one's going to care more than yourself anyways. Look, you can't be fucking reliant on the government. You can't be fucking reliant on data. You can't be reliant on anyone other than yourself in this world and expect really anything. I mean, at the end of the day, man, only you are going to care the most about your own results. And so if you're mad about, I don't know, the fucking Cardano going down, or like, I found the big scam with XYZ shitcoin. Look, it's not the big scam with XYZ shitcoin. It is probably a scam, or it is probably bullshit, but there's no like greater conspiracy. Look, it's just garbage is what it is. It's just fucking garbage. And you can test that because you can apply that same fucking theology to just about 90% of this market. That's what it comes down to. And that's what I think a lot of people get seduced by, because it's very seductive to be told, hey man, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's this very evil they corporation over there. They're obviously always nameless, of course, too, but it's a lot easier to pass off that, because then it makes you feel like it's not your fault. And if it's not your fault, then you don't have to deal with it. Well, guess what? You still actually have to deal with it anyways. So it's better to just assume that it's your responsibility anyways, even if it's not your fault. That's my point. So these sorts of things are, again, very seductive, very fun to talk about, very fun to kind of, I don't know, be under the influence of some certain substances and shoot the shit with. But, is it helpful? No, it's actually more destructive than anything. It's just going to stop you from taking action, because you're going to say, well, it's someone else's fault. They should fix it. Well, they don't fucking care. they probably don't give a fuck. So fair enough. Bitcoin Delphine says, this is Omar. Wait, what? You've been commandeered? Bears are touching me on the chart. Those bastard bears, they'll pay for this one. Let's see. I think he was asking about like Ethereum the other day. He's like, I need to know, does Ethereum go back down to 1760 or something? Apparently it does. Apparently it does. Look, man, it's like you're looking. It's like fuck. I'm on the 5 minute. Okay. Hopefully this one doesn't. No, fuck. I'm liquidated. Oh my god, it's going back up. This one's bullshit again. Like, get off the fucking 5 minute, man. It's a lot easier when you do this. Hey, sideways as fuck range. Look, I understand that a lot of YouTubers will have like these very insane Bitcoin price prediction, urgent analysis, emergency video coming right now. Guess what? It's sideways. It's fucking sideways, man. Ryan Schroeder says, sir, friend is broke, liquidated at 1000x. What the fuck? 1000x 200,000 digibytes. Sorry, don't mean to laugh here. I don't think that you can leverage trade digibyte unless if I'm what's it called? Mistaken. So hopefully this is a troll here. Had to super chat for him. Well, aren't you a good friend? Harmony USDT Binance 4-hour daily. God bless. God bless you too, sir. Harmony. Okay. Harmony USD. Hey. What the fuck? It just disappeared there. All right. I guess Binance 4-hour. Let's see what we got. Looks good on a daily. Looks very good on a daily. Looks very good on a 4-hour. I'll be looking for continuation here. Is this new all-time highs? This is new all-time highs. We are in price discovery, sir. Look for more new all-time highs. I don't see any divergence signals coming in anytime soon. This one very likely gets another leg. Do we have any? Did I make any chart? I guess I don't have any targets on this. I don't really have any targets on this, to be honest with you. We can maybe try to plot some extensions here. Let's see if it comes up with anything. Yeah, it's pointing a little bit higher towards about 13.5. Yeah, about 13.5. That'd be the next area of interest, but maybe a little bit of a pullback there, but I wouldn't be comfortable talking about anything more than that. A little bit too young in this one. All right, cool. Sideways as fuck. Warning. Emergency broadcast. We have a sideways range. It's quite profound. Anyways, okay, cool. This chat is liking hair jokes. Disappointed. Elsa? Stop bullying me. I'm gonna fucking report to you to YouTube. You're out. You're banned. You're gone. You're very much gone. All right, personal responsibility. How dare you? That's exactly right, caretaker. That's exactly right. There'll be none of that in today's world. Yeah, man. One of the reasons why I left America is just like it seems like there's a very clear divide in the populations. One, well, actually no, there's like three divides. Actually, there's like three divides. We won't get into that right now because politics is the worst thing to be talking about on the internet. Politics is fucking cancer to be talking about. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, I'm breaking my own rules right now. I absolutely hate that. You're a bully! You're a bully! You're a goddamn bully, sir. Global shadow control can you be used as a cop-out if you want to act like a victim? Sure, exactly, man. And like maybe you even are a victim. You could be a victim. But guess what? It's still your responsibility to deal with the fucking consequences. Like, look, man, people always talk about how like they were so hard done by, you know, maybe their parents, for example, when they were young. Yeah, maybe you were. You know, maybe you were born into a shitty family. It's possible. Yes, absolutely. That definitely does happen. But still, I mean, no one's going to care more than you. No one's going to care more than you at the end of the day. I mean, shit, man. You know, weird things happen in this world, and it's like I never get. I think once you understand that too, you never get too excited about good things happening, and you never get too excited about or too down about bad things happening because you actually don't even know how to analysize it for a while anyways, right? I mean, you know, what's that fabled story, right? Where it's like, I don't know, some fucking guy has a son and his son like breaks his arm and people are like, oh my God, that's so terrible. He's going to be fucked for life. And then like the war starts and someone comes around to like recruit people and they say, and he's like, oh, well, he has a broken arm. We can't recruit him. And they're like, oh my God, your son's so lucky because he can't, he can't get recruited. He's not going to die. And then, I don't know, like they lose the fucking war. Who knows? But my point is that you don't really know how to interpret things because things are naturally always changing. Anyways, how the fuck did I get on that? Don't know. Omar Ethereum, 1 second. Is it going down or not? I need to know or I will be liquidated and I will blame you. And it's going to be on your conscience. There you go. Centrist extremists ruining my country. Yeah, those goddamn centrists are being way too reasonable right now. Fuck those guys. I've had enough of that, man. The Chinese farmer. Sorry, I don't think that's a real story. Well, it's not a real story, but it's you get the idea of it. Well, maybe not. Maybe I didn't do a good job of explaining it. Probably didn't. Hi, Krown. Do you have a sandpaper range for this sideways range? Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for the sandpaper range, yeah, it's quite clear. We can just use yesterday's high, 59,600 versus kind of this low structure coming in here, just around about 55,000 even, a little bit higher than that to be fair, and it is rising over time. That's kind of my range right now. We can actually flip this blue box up here, just seeing as this is, it's trying to put in a nice structural low here, and we can respect it for now, I suppose. Do something like this. Yes, of course, 52,000 bucks is still very much relevant, but it's just not relevant for like the immediate price action of Bitcoin. We can have that down here, so we can actually move up this base to this next level. Yeah, and fair enough. You know that's fair enough to do. New 510 says, Krown bro, talk those dirty politics. I'm getting wet. Oh man, you know what I'm gonna do? Maybe I should do this on stream. Political garbage channel has got to fucking go, man. That chat is fucking cancer, man. That chat needs to fucking die. Holy shit. If you want to go talk politics, that's great. Just don't do it around me because I hate it. It's the fucking worst, man. Look, no one's solving the world's talking about politics is like or like as if like you're arguing politics. It's just the biggest waste of time. You're not going to do anything about it. You're not going to fucking do anything about it. It's like the global elite are doing this. Okay, don't care. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? Let's see. Hey, Alan Watts is the legend, man. One of my favorite all-time pastimes is to get into the right mood late at night and listen to some Alan Watts. He's actually very, 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 very profound. Strongly recommend that, actually. Andrew Morrison, what's up, man? Morning, Eric. Could you look at ENJ USDT 12-hour Binance? Okay, ENJ. I think it's going to be maybe one of the last ones here, because we're about an hour and 20 minutes into this. I guess we can go Binance. This one's been one of the bigger winners, I believe, too. Yeah, it keeps on showing up on the top 10 best. But is it still there, actually? Let's double check. Maybe it's not today. Nope, don't see it there. Do we see it on the other side? No, the bad boy side's not there. No, Digibyte's there. No! Fuck no, man! Oh, god damn it. Krown made me sell that one the other day. And now it's still going down. I could have been buying higher and selling even fucking lower than that. God damn it, Krown, you piece of shit. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy to hell. I agree. Still looks okay here, I guess. ENJ, it's hard to be bearish on something that looks like this, man. It's you know, long term it's good. Weekly is a little bit top here, to be fair. I'd probably be looking for a bit of a sideways range. I don't think that this one's like baked enough here, to be fair. Momentum also is kind of suggesting that fact. Momentum also actually suggesting short-term downside. I'm very curious to see what is this? DGB, BTC. Bittrex, okay. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. It's still going down, man. There's still a chance to be buying high and selling lower. Oh, fuck. Goddamn DGB. Krown is really pissed at Krown, yeah. Damn, split personalities at it again. Can you give me your take on EGLD? What is this? EGL, is this E-Gold? Oh, this is E-Gold. Is this the thing? I guess Binance, there's a billion different tickets for this one. It looks like most of these crypto charts right now, you know, general uptrend. Short term, does it have a little bit of downside? Maybe. If it does, I'd be looking towards $1.20 and a half. And probably try another higher low right there. Do we have any hidden bullish divergence? Actually, no, we don't. No, we do not. I'd really like to see hidden bullish divergence on a formation like this, and that usually is going to confirm your reaccumulation. It's certainly a possibility here. I like where daily Stokes kind of postured, especially considering that the range is more or less holding here, and it's still kind of printing higher lows. So whenever I see something like that, it typically does turn out to be good. But traditionally speaking, or if we're being very, 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 very what's called like hard-nosed here, what I'd say about that is that technically speaking, you don't have that just yet, but it's probably does turn into a good setup, to be fair. Bez Kinsta says, Krown bro, hello sir, bro, sir, should I be worried about the bearish divergence on the daily for Bitcoin? God damn it, how many fucking times about this? All right, bearish divergence on daily, for the love of God. Sir, first off, this bearish divergence already played out. That was your move from 62,000 bucks all the way down to 53,000 bucks. I think it'd be very much relevant to say that's already played out. More importantly, on the other side, we already have hidden bullish divergence on caretaker RSI, which is not going to show up on your regular thingies, or that's not going to be like the traditional way to actually be looking at it. But I just see these keep on working out, so I'm more inclined to say that's not true. Now you're probably saying, but Krown, we have another local high right here. No, we do not. And more importantly, if you see bearish divergence coming at this zone right here, it almost never plays out. You want to see it in the critical zone, sir. For the love of goddamn God. Dap Future, what's up, man? Sir, please check out Whale or my mom lose her house. Oh, okay. All right. Whale wrapped. What the fuck is this thing, sir? You got bigger problems than this, man. You're trading versus wrapped other. What the hell is this thing? Oh man, mom, mom. You're gonna be homeless. Unless you shorted. What do we have here? Daily jewel sell signal. Well, not really, but kind of a sloppy one, to be fair. Probably does bounce soonest off the 200 simple, but that bounce I do not suspect will get held. This is a long-term lower high. Weekly is looking like a reversal. I'd be looking for a bounce off of about 1 cent, and mom becomes mom will get another bounce very likely around there, but over time I think that she's going to be headed back down to homeless territory at about a third of a cent. Not looking good for mom, man. You should be more respectful there. Not looking good. Marcel, hello, Mr. Marcel. Hello, doctor. Just want to say good morning. Good morning, sir. And thank you for some very entertaining and teaching years. 2 years for me, though. Fuck yeah, man. Hey, 2 years is something. 2 years is really something. It really blows my mind. I mean, you know, it's just, it's hard to really put into words like what that actually is. I mean, that's a long time. That's a long fucking time, man. But yeah, man, it's certainly been a pleasure, man. It's certainly been a very strong pleasure. But for DAP Future, unfortunately, it's going to be a pleasure without a roof, I think, long term. I don't know. What does a monthly look like here? This is bizarre. It's hard to judge this because of whatever the fuck happened right here. I'm assuming this is probably just illiquid garbage. So maybe it does reverse off of about 1 1/4 cent or 1 cent even, whatever the hell it is. But you know, if this is real here, which I think it is, it's kind of hard to judge this one. How much history do we have? About a little bit less than a year. So yeah, I don't really trust it too much, man. I had to call it probably down. The opulent minority are keeping us down. Those bastards. Those fucking bastards are at it again. All right, I think I'm going to wrap this one up, man. I think I'm going to wrap this one up because it's an hour and 20 minutes into this. That's usually where I want to be ending these, and it's gym time for moi. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go back over here. It's going to be all this set up for the weekly closures, especially for CME. Let's see, is CME closing a bi-weekly here? I think it is not. Yeah, not coming in until next week. So fair enough on that one, but I still do like it overall. Let's see. Jay says thoughts on Reef USDT or .USD. God damn it, man. All right, Reef USD. Binance really quickly. No time frame given, but I'm inclined to say that this one does try another move to the upside short term, like 4.5 cent region. Dot probably the same shit. I think that this one's actually been one of the better ones, to be fair. Yeah, again, ascending triangle at a high level. I'd still be looking at it something like this. Continuation above about $40 or a daily closure above $38. I'd be targeting 48.5 to maybe even $50. It looks good. It's very mature here too. So fair enough. All right, let's get through the wrap up and send you on your very merry way. Let's go over here to CME. I think CME is still more obvious for this one, and let's get the ranges right on CME too. Actually, these ones are still working, so that's fair enough. We can move this baby up to our current high on this run, and that would all be well and good. All right, let's wrap this bitch up. Actually, should we start over here? Fair enough. Bitcoin CME daily looking like we still have that same sort of 55 and bottom side triangle band interplay that we've been looking at on spot price action that has denoted the next sort of continuation phases after a little bit of a consolidation. When I say a little bit of consolidation, typically about a week and a half to 2 weeks, it looks like coming in from the same level that we saw from January 30,000 to 40,000. Same thing over here from about 45,000 to about 58,000 bucks. And as long as this trajectory is hold, I do remain more or less bullish on this one. Sorry, CME right here, obviously. But more importantly, with this, we do see that cross the upside of the 55 and the bottom side Toronto band, which have pretty much always led into continuation phases near the top side of the Toronto band, which is currently posturing right above 61,000 bucks, looks like. So with all of that in mind, I mean, the last few signals, again, plotting this one right here, plotting this one right here, plotting this one a little bit more of a slow moving one, but does eventually go from about 11,000 to 20,000 bucks, looking good, and then several times to the downside in 2018, 2019. But more importantly, looking at it right now, this would be the more bullish of that. And with that said, we do see that MACD's had a little bit of a bullish reset right here, with the histogram coming back down into kind of the zero read. So I don't really see anything too interesting right there, at least for the immediate future. And daily DMI plus ADX is, I mean, it's essentially having a bit of a reset here too. So what does that likely equate to? It likely equates to still a sideways range. So if I am being honest about these videos or putting an honest title here, the honest title would be Bitcoin urgent emergency sideways as fuck range. Realistically, Bitcoin still maintains the uptrend, and I don't really see any real reasons to switch around long-term analysis, especially as long as Bitcoin's above, especially like 52,000 bucks. But we could even move up the daily point of failure now to the current low structure within this region, which is about 55,500 on a daily closure, or a wick below the low side of this range at about 16th of the March, which is 53,475. If one of those two conditions is met, yes, I will switch around to being a little bit, or at least medium-term bearish, looking for moves back down below 50,000 bucks. But as long as that is not happening, I look at this as reaccumulation. This is further supported by what we see on the dashboard over here. Open interest naturally going up alongside of the range, and the underlying market dynamics also favoring that as well, with the complete reset on the funding rate here. So all of that I do like alongside each other. Do I think that this move happens like today or tomorrow? I'm not so sure about that. I do think that this is a setup for however next week, especially based off of the bi-weekly that we've been referencing over here, which is still trending above the top side Toronto band. So that would more or less equate to like the next 3 to 3.5 weeks of price action, I'd imagine. And I do remain bullish again as long as these conditions are met right now. With that in mind, the short-term timeframes, however, will very likely initiate continuation with a 4-hour closure above yesterday's local high, which is 59,500 on CME. On spot price action, that same level would be about 59,600, which is rather interesting. So we do see it a little bit higher on spot price action, which is typically not the case. So with that in mind, short-term time frame, or sorry, medium-term time frame range right now, if I can get my charts properly, would be about 55,000 bucks to the downside versus that 59,600 area to the upside. As long as Bitcoin's kind of baking within there, I do have an overall bullish bias on on the resolution of this. But any sort of a test to the downside or the upside is more or less likely just a little bit of a pinball action right here, with continuation or resolution of this likely implied not today, but probably coming into next week. If I had to guess, maybe over the weekend. However, the weekend, well, I'm usually right for fuckery, and I don't really like to make any sort of calls over the weekend. I usually 99% of the time I don't even trade over the weekend unless something completely obvious. So with all of that in mind, I think that the continuation points here are pretty damn well documented. We could maybe even make this easier on a 3-day, or was it a bi-daily? I think it was a bi-daily on, no, it's a 3-day on, of course, CME. And we could just use the last doji doodle as a continuation point actually for both sides. And to the downside, I mean, yes, that would be pretty damn big moves. And to the upside, of course, same targets do apply still, up to about, I think 69,000 bucks is the measured move off of this as a cup and handle, and also the 3-spot 618 Fibonacci extension. So So with all of that said, just a long form way of saying, sideways, still looking for a little bit of sideways and up. And I'd like to wish you a very, very happy rest of your Friday. I'll be back on with another late day wrap up today, doing a little bit of flying later too, I imagine. And with that in mind, wishing you the best of the best. I salute you. Take care. And until next time.